We're launching a new segment on Fox 11 called The High Cost of, whether it's financial, political, emotional. We're digging deeper into the things that impact our lives. Tonight, Phil Shuman looks at the high cost of not voting.
I think I just received my acceptance letter from UCLA. Now I can finally transfer from community college.
This YouTube video by a San Gabriel Valley comedy team takes a satirical look at a serious problem.
The ballot measure to fund the UC school system did not pass by 1 vote.
It's the high cost of not voting, whether it's education, healthcare, taxes, or
if you don't vote, you must cope with whoever gets elected.
With voter turnout in LA's last election so low, we asked academics, activists, experts, and the politicians, what is the cost of not voting?
If they are not participating, they're not holding our elected officials accountable.
If people aren't participating, they lack understanding in what government does.
There's more of an opportunity for small groups of citizens, small interest groups to have more clout in the process.
I think the cost is that people get even more cynical. If so few are voting, why should I?
There's plenty of research into why people don't vote, like Megan Sequoian of Hollywood.
Yeah, I just didn't really agree with any of them, so I figured why vote?
But there's little hard data about the cost of not voting. I mean, if you call 911, the police still come, right? Your broken water pipes will get fixed. Still,
I think the cost is enormous from not voting.
From behind the mountains of paperwork that fill her office, former political staffer turned community activist Chancee Martorell is all about getting out the vote.
After the national elections, we began then working on the municipal elections.
For her, the cost of not voting is hard to calculate, but easy to describe.
By not voting, it's about losing your sense of participation. It's about losing your voice, totally disenfranchising yourself, and completely losing a sense of ownership.
Besides losing that sense of ownership, there's
a little bit of social pressure and embarrassment for people not voting.
USC professor Christian Gross, an expert on voting and elections, agrees the cost of not voting, while tough to quantify, is clear.
The cost of not voting for individuals is that they have to admit to other people who did vote that they didn't participate in the political process. The cost of not voting for society in general is that when few people participate, those who actually vote do not necessarily reflect the overall city or the overall electorate.
So these are the stickers that we're using for the election that we're managing.
And motivating the overall electorate is something Raquel Beltran thinks about every day.
Candidates have hard choices to make when voter turnout is low.
She's head of the LA office of the League of Women Voters and believes special interests can benefit when turnout is low.
When fewer people are involved in the process, then I think elected officials tend to be challenged to implement public policy that serves the broader good, so that it encourages decision-making in order to benefit special interest or smaller groups of constituents, because they're the ones who are participating and will get the person elected or re-elected.
True? Not according to the new mayor.
I don't care if you voted for me or against me, I'm going to reach out and I need you.
Mayor-elect Eric Garcetti, now stepping onto the biggest stage of his young political life, is a student of governing. For him, the cost of not voting, that's an easy one.
I think the cost to society if people don't vote is you get worse government, because government depends on the involvement, not just on election day, but the days that follow. And if more and more people tune out, we're not going to see a city turn around. More and more people get involved, though, we're unstoppable.
And as we contemplate this subject, we learn that the city clerk in Los Angeles has convened a series of high-level meetings with people trying to answer the question of how to make voting more accessible. For example, voting on weekends, voting online. The thinking is, if it was easier, more people would do it. Phil Shuman, Fox 11 News.